breath together. Just relax, quieting the mind, the body, your heart, getting in touch with your spirit, your soul. Remembering not just your connection with the divine, but that we live and move and have our being in the divine. We disconnect from all the distractions in our lives, to the noise in our heads. We let whatever thoughts are moving through our heads right now, just let them stream through, flow through. Let them move as they will, endeavoring not to be attached to any particular thought. But notice what you're noticing, what's showing up for you. Let yourself rest fully and deeply. Letting ourselves rest because we know that the divine underpins all things, contains all things without circumference, is infinite, everlasting, inexhaustible. Every need that we have is already taken care of before we ask. For the divine is omniscient, omnipotent, omnipresent. So we are free to be at peace. Free to be free. To know that there is nothing that can pen us in. There's nothing that can hinder our spirits but our own thoughts, our own judgments about ourselves. And we forget that the vine is all around us, within us, that goodness reigns, that love and peace and harmony are within us. That is our true essence. We have only to remind ourselves that goodness does indeed reign. So now, from this place of peace and rest, let us now sing our centering song, Spirit. So this reading is from The 12 Powers by Charles and Cora Fillmore. Charles Fillmore is one of the co-founders of Unity. When we discover in ourselves a flow of thought that seems to have been evolved independently of the reasoning process, we are often puzzled about its origin and its safety as a guide. In its beginnings, this seemingly strange source of knowledge is often turned aside as a daydream. Again, it seems a distant voice, an echo of something that we have heard and forgotten. One should give attention to the unusual and usually faint whispering of spirit in man. It is not of the intellect, and it does not originate in the skull. It is the development in man of a greater capacity to know himself and to understand the purpose of creation. The Bible gives many examples of the awakening of this brain of the heart in seers, in lawgivers, and in prophets. It is accredited as coming from the heart. The nature of the process is not explained. One who is in the devotional stage of unfoldment need not know all the complex movement of the mind in order to get the message of the Lord. It is enough to know that the understanding is opened in both head and heart when man gives himself wholly to the Lord. This relation of head and heart is illustrated in the lives of John the Baptist and Jesus. They were cousins. The understanding of the head bears a close relation to the wisdom of the heart. They both receive the baptism of Spirit, John preceding Jesus and baptizing him. Here, the natural order of spiritual illumination is illustrated. Man receives first an intellectual understanding of truth, which he transmits to his heart, where love is awakened. The Lord reveals to him that the faculty of love is the greatest of all the powers of man, and that head knowledge must decrease as heart understanding increases. Jesus did not let the limited race thought about man keep him from doing the works of spirit. And when Charles and Cora are talking about race thought, they're talking about humanity, about the human race. He knew that the light of truth had arisen in his consciousness, and he was not afraid to affirm it. He went right ahead, healing the sick and teaching the truth as he saw it, regardless of the traditions of the Hebrew fathers, Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. He kept the light shining in his consciousness by being loyal to it and by making for himself the highest statement of truth that he could conceive. The Christ mind speaking in him said, "I am the light of the world."
Good morning, everybody. I'm going to scooch this a little bit so I can't quite get behind it. Okay. Inspirational moment number 2 is from Divine Audacity by Linda Martella Whitsett. Is that how you say it? Whitsett. Okay. And the word is understanding. Comprehension, one of the powers of understanding, is our ability to discover connections between thought and feeling, between the body's messages and our habits of thought, between accumulated beliefs and unadulterated truth. Through comprehension, we make sense of seemingly incompatible or unrelated ideas. We learn about aspects of our divine identity when listening to our life. A life review, a hallmark of recovery programs and other personal development systems, shines a spotlight on our long-held beliefs, patterns of thought, and habits of behavior. Activating our innate power of understanding, we see the past in a context of wholeness. We discover the spirit of our own being, what we know of ourself. We engage with our deepest longings and sense of purpose. Charles Fillmore taught, there are 2 ways of getting understanding. One is by following the guidance of spirit that dwells within. And the other is to go blindly ahead and learn by hard experience. The Revealing Word 201. Learning, studying, reflecting, and meditating all reward us with a growing sense of spiritual comprehension. These practices result in our claiming of our Daniel nature, assured that I have now come out to give you wisdom and understanding, Daniel 9:22. So the affirmation, if you would say with me 3 times, please. I discover the aspects of my divine identity when listening to my life. I discover the aspects of my divine identity when listening to my life. I discover the aspects of my divine identity when listening to my life.
When we are preparing for a journey, for a trip, for a mission, we pack for the trip. We take clothes that we want to wear. We may have toiletries, other things that we want to have on our trip, things that we're used to having at home, using at home that we want to take forward on our journey, because that's what makes life more comfortable when we are traveling. And I think sometimes on spiritual journeys, and I believe we are always on a spiritual journey, that life is a series of journeys, one after another. I think we also believe that there's something to pack ahead of that we need to have something ready for us to prepare for what's coming. Even though every single spiritual journey I've had, I didn't know what was coming, so it didn't matter what I thought I needed along the way. In fact, most of the time, I was grossly unprepared for what was coming down the path. So this year, just like last year, we've chosen words that we want to, principles, energies, themes for the year to guide us and to help us grow throughout the year. Something that we want to step into, that we want to embody, to carry us through and to teach us something new about ourselves and about God and about our relationship with God, to strengthen the bond, even though I don't believe it's possible to do that because God is everything. So you can't strengthen what already is. All you can strengthen is your awareness of what God is for you and for all of us in this world. When I was first diagnosed, almost 2 years ago, so March 6, 2024, I didn't know what was coming. In fact, I knew in the moment that I had nothing to prepare me for what was coming up. I didn't know how long the journey was going to be. All I knew was I was faced with something that I was clueless about. So there was no packing for the journey. There was just deciding, all right, we're on this journey. That's all I got right now, is to step forward and in each moment open myself to how I think the divine wants me to step forward, how the divine is going to meet me in each moment in this journey. So I think as we move forward with these words that we've chosen, with anything that we decide to do, that as we step forward and we realize, all right, I'm in this thing, which I may have decided or not. Sometimes things just show up in our lives, don't they? And sometimes they rock our worlds. But I think it's important that we step into it just wide open and admit to ourselves, I don't know what this is. I don't know where this is taking me. And there's something here that I believe in, or want to believe in, or need to believe in, that can carry me through. It's hard, probably one of the hardest lessons I've had to learn is to step into life and to step forward with God with no preconceived notions and just to let God work. Not how I want God to work, but to let God work as God works. To let God work as God works. And not to put up barriers, not to close down my heart and my mind, like Charles and Cora Fillmore are talking about in that reading I did, to let things are up here in my head now, and me in my analytical mind, I'm starting to run all over the place with what I think is a good idea about what this journey is going to be, and just let all that go and sink here to my heart, affirm that God is here, God is here, God is here, and I can just walk with eyes closed, holding the hand of God. My mentor said that to me in our session this week. I forget who, I think she said it was John of the Cross or something like that. Said, spiritual journey is like closing our eyes and taking the hand of God, knowing that we will be led perfectly along that journey. I don't know that there's anybody in this world that I would close my eyes with and take their hand and walk and keep walking and trust fully. Yes, my husband's in the room. Yes, that's a whole other talk, so we're not going there. Ain't love grand? I said walk all the way. I didn't say I wouldn't take his hand and walk with my eyes closed, but there are some days I'm walking with my eyes closed and I open one eye. Is he taking me where I want to go? Y'all know how it is. Don't even be laughing like it's only me. That's why you all are laughing, because you know how it is. Yes, I have my eyes closed, honey. One eye open. As I drive him in the direction I want to go. Because of course I know better, right? But often that's my relationship with God. That I close my eyes and I take the hand, but I'm steering this way because I say, okay, God, I don't want to do this. I don't want to go in this direction. I don't want to shift here. I don't want to shift there. Let's shift in my direction. How about if we do that for a change, God? You all have had that discussion, whether out loud or not. Sometimes you have it in your heart when you are resisting where you're being led. You're resisting where you're being led. And I've had enough of those journeys where I've just led the whole thing in the ditch. Remember we talked about that a couple of weeks ago? I lead myself into the ditch. And I said, oh, maybe I should have trusted, closed my eyes, relaxed, and just go where I am led by Spirit, by the divine. Because I'm never in the ditch with the divine. Never. Even though you may feel like you're in the ditch, because you're not sure what this means, what the present moment means on the journey, and you're thinking you're in a ditch, or you're thinking you're in the ditch alone. And yet God is ever present. You feel like you're taking on water, like you're blubbering under the water and drowning, and all along Spirit is saying, I've got you. Stop fighting me. Stop fighting. Stop fighting. Those of you who know how to float in the water, you just lay back, chest up, arms out, and relax and breathe, and you just float on the water. That's what Spirit's asking us to do. That's what this journey with these words can be if we will allow ourselves to walk that way. That no matter where that particular word is taking you, whatever lessons you're going to have, that you can close your eyes, relax, fully relaxed and at peace, knowing that wherever you are led, is perfect and right and good for you. How many times through the week do you walk through whatever it is you're going through, white-knuckled, holding your breath? Because you're not sure what's happening, you're not comfortable with what's happening, you don't like what's happening, you want it to be over, and inside you are kicking and screaming the whole way. How many times you say, I don't want this, I don't want this, I don't want this? How much longer? How much longer? I told you, those are those spiritual tantrums. I've had them. I still have them every once in a while. I don't have them as long anymore. They're not as loud anymore. They're not as ugly and pathetic anymore. Because I do have this knowing. I do have this trust in my bones that says I don't have to go crazy about this. There is no crazy if I truly trust in the divine. I can go there if I choose, but it doesn't have to be that way. I can float through this. I can close my eyes and walk, knowing I am guided perfectly. I can take deep breaths. I can unclench my fist. I can stop thinking and analyzing and trying to predict where I'm going and how it's going to go. I can just trust that there is something deep within me that is saying, I've got you. I've got this. I've got you. I've got this. We've got this. Breathe, child, breathe. Relax, child, relax. How about if we walk this, knowing that all is well and all is good? All is well and all is good. Let's discover each other along this way. So you can feel more of me. Know me more deeply. And then you realize that this particular journey is actually talking to you about all of life. And that maybe this particular time with Spirit is about something particular within you that needs to be healed and released. So as you're thinking about your words, and I want you to think deeply about your words every single day. That's why we wrote the affirmation. That's why they're there. That's why I invite you to say, I am whatever it is your word is. My word comes up for me all the time throughout the week. Everything I'm in, I'm thinking about, am I being audacious in this? Am I fully in my magnificence as God sees me? Am I being that in this moment? And if not, how do I flip the switch? How do I show up now? More of love, audaciously loving, audaciously expressing myself with love in my divine beingness? How do I express more of God? How do I show more of God to whomever I am talking with in this moment, so that they see the divine more clearly in this moment? So can we walk fully trusting? Can we step forward from this day, arms open wide, no preconceived notions, no plan, letting things unfold moment by moment, day by day, in whatever way they will unfold, not wanting to snatch back the plan? There are many times I was taken on a journey, spiritual journey, and I trust for a bit, and then I get a little nervous, and I snatch it back and say, okay, we are doing it this way. I snatch it back, and I lose my way for a little bit, and I wander around, and I go in circles. I end up falling on my face. I end up in that ditch again, that proverbial ditch again, sputtering mud. And then at some point, something says, just get back on the path. The journey will now continue from the ditch. Simple as that. You got to walk out of it. And walking out of it is as simple as saying, I'm here, arms open wide. Show me the way out of the ditch. Often that is the way out of the ditch. Or you no longer judge where you are as the ditch. It's just another step on the path. And you don't bother kicking yourself for driving it into the ditch. You know how useless and unproductive it is to kick yourself. You forgive yourself. Be kind and compassionate to your soul, to yourself, knowing that sometimes we just have to learn it the hard way. We just do that. It's okay. Just walk out of the ditch, because the longer you kick yourself, the longer you are in the ditch. And walk yourself out of it. Eyes closed, holding the hand, proverbial hand of God, knowing that the divine is working through you and as you, speaking to you. So you quiet your mind. What are you telling me here? What's going on now? What would you have me know in this moment? What would you have me know? And listen, and heed, and step forward, and trust. Both eyes closed, not one half open. Not steering one way or the other. Always, 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 you will be led along a path that will blow your mind and your heart and your heart. But you got to trust. Trust. And so the question is, here this day, as we are still in the inception of this journey we're on with these words, again, we've talked about this, will I trust? How much do I trust God? How much do I trust the divine? How much do I trust Spirit? How much do I trust that still small voice that is always talking to me? How much do I trust? And be okay with whatever that answer is. It doesn't matter if it's 10%, 10% is better than none. Go with the 10. Don't kick yourself. Don't analyze it. Go with the 10. And maybe through the week, maybe that day you get to 11. Maybe you get to 15. Maybe by the end of the month you get to 20%. I don't know. But if you can be open and if you can say, I want to trust, I will just let myself walk this openly with joyous expectation, with gratitude in my heart. Gratitude that there is something that is unconditional love that is carrying you through every single thing there is. Even in the ditch, you can lay there, mud all over you, and say, thank God there's something that can lead me out of this, that can be with me in the ditch. Knowing that mud-stained and tired and frustrated, that God is present. And all is well. All is well in the ditch, as it is outside the ditch. What I learned on that journey I started 2 years ago is that God, the divine, is larger, more powerful than every single thing in this world. You may not know that right now. That's okay. But hopefully this journey with this word will help you to know more of that as you step forward through every single day. And you can find more of you in that God space, if you want to call it that. More of you, more of your goodness. More of you as love, as light. More of you as wisdom. More of you as harmony and unity. Maybe you'll discover more of you. Jesus wanted us to discover more of us in relation to God. Just by saying, the Father and I are one, should tell you everything you need to know about who you are. The Father and I are one. The Father and I are one. Father and I are one. So will you step forward with that word, with this energy for the year that you're trying to embody and grow within you, to develop, to deepen within you? Because I believe that whatever it is you decided on is already there. You're just trying to discover it. You're trying to unleash it. You're trying to harness it. Trying to recognize it as you, rather than saying, I want that. At some point along this journey, and you may not feel it until December 31st, that I am that. To know that in your bones, I am that. I am that. And it's not just words. It's a firm belief, a conviction that is now a part of who you are. So can you be on this journey unpacked? How uncomfortable would it be to get on a plane to go somewhere with no baggage? I'm already. Not without my favorite outfit. At least this many pairs of shoes. How do you feel when you leave home without your phone? Yeah, so, see, look, everybody's like, oh. She didn't have to go there, did she? How many of you turn around as soon as you notice and go back home, get your phone? Yeah. And it's not that long ago that we didn't have phones. We left home just with ourselves. No device. Nothing to tell you where you are, to find out who's talking to you on Facebook, whatever it is. Without having the latest meme, the latest news, if it's news. How many of you would not know where to get home from wherever it is you went? What would you do without being able to call or text your favorite person, or have them text and let you know where they are, what they're doing, what they're eating, what they cooked, what some crazy person is doing at the same gate where they are waiting to go someplace? So, it looks like this journey is like leaving home without your phones and trusting that you can get home and trusting that all the information you need is here, right here within you. No device. The only device you need is God. The only device you need is God. God, if I'd known that was going to hit home, I would have started with that. If you could have seen the fear on your faces when I said, where have you left home without? Oh, God. Panic. Did some of you reach for your phones? Where is it, by the way? So yes, stepping forward, eyes closed, holding the hand of God is like leaving your phone at home, people, and saying it's all good. It's all good. Everything I need is right here, right here. Holding it all without circumference, inexhaustible, unlimited, unconditional love, unwavering support, all the wisdom you ever need to know, answer to every question you've ever had or will have is in the divine. In the divine. Question is, do you know that? Do you know it? 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 I had a conversation with somebody the other day, and we were talking about meditation, but we were also talking about our respective journeys, and she was asking me about mine, and then we were going through this kind of a guided meditation. She asked me something about where do I believe unconditional love or God is or resides within me. And she was waiting for me to say my heart or something like that. And I said, I believe God is everywhere within me, every single cell of my body. But 2 years ago, I started a journey that eventually led me to knowing that unequivocally, unapologetically, fully and deeply. I now know and I now affirm every single day that every cell of my body is 100% God. It's the only way I got healed. I didn't know that prior to March 6, 2024. I rationally knew it. It wasn't here. It wasn't here in my heart. I said it aloud, but I didn't believe it fully, deeply, until that journey began, and I had to reckon with my health. And how big do I believe God is, and can God meet me with this challenge? And then I did this. Come on with it, because I got nothing for this right here. And I did close my eyes and I walked. Close my eyes. Give me what I need today because I've got nothing yet again. I probably said that every day. And you go from saying, all I have is God or all I have is prayer, to all I have is God. Because saying it the first way, I'm like, yeah, that's all I got. It ain't enough. I need something else. That's all I got. But being able to open your arms fully and say, all I have is God, is so much different. It moves me to say that, to open my arms wide and say that and feel it in my bones. And it almost makes me, it catches in my throat as I say it. Because it has moved from here to here. And that's what can happen when we open our arms wide to a journey unpacked, waiting for Spirit to unfold in us and through us on the journey. So I invite you to do this. Do this. Yeah, let yourself be that. And do it for as long as you need it. All I have is God. 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 In this moment, in every moment, every moment. Let's take this into meditation. So here in this moment, I want you to think of the word you've written on that paper ornament and placed on the tree. And if you don't have a word, you weren't here with us last week, maybe there's something that's present for you in this moment. Is there some principle, some word, some energy that you would like to step into and that God is now speaking to you about that? That Spirit is now moving into your soul and saying, maybe it is love, maybe it's patience. Mine is audacious, that I am the full light of God in every moment. Maybe it's health. Maybe it's prosperity. Maybe it's community. Maybe it's family. Maybe it's harmony, unity, solitude, peace. Whatever it is, think of that now. And if you don't have a word, it's okay. Let yourself be in this moment, knowing that now that you have asked, there will be an answer. Just let yourself be with that word. Let it become a living, breathing force within your life, even though you may not know how it will unfold and what it will look like and how your life might change. Go into the quiet for a couple of minutes, but think about, ask, or say, I am fully open. My arms are open wide to whatever will unfold. Guide me. I'm closing my eyes and taking your hand. So let's take a deep breath together. Breathe in, exhale. Breathe in again, exhale. Remembering that feeling of having your arms open wide. Remembering what it feels like to let go, to let God and let go, to let God and let go, to trust, to float upon the water. Knowing that all is well. Because the love that is unconditional, that is almighty, that heals all things, bears all things, is ever present, inexhaustible, infinite, greater than anything in this physical world. And so it is. Amen.